Oh, hey, what's going on? Glad you stopped by to hang out with me for a few minutes today. Today, I thought I'd show you some of the stuff I have for the Sega Saturn. Now, by no means do I have a lot for this. I am a Nintendo guy, but I'm not one of those Nintendo guys. I love the Sega stuff, especially the Saturn. Now, the Saturn is cool. Now, I never had this as a kid. I only knew one person that even had this system. It was a good friend of mine. I remember he had it when we were in high school. I remember seeing it at his house, but we never played it because we had other things on our mind in high school. So just through circumstances, through the years after I started collecting, picking up boxes of stuff here and there at yard sales, flea markets, people giving me stuff, ended up with a handful of Saturn games, but I didn't have one. So I thought, well, that's a pretty good excuse to get one. So gosh, I got one 10 years ago, probably, maybe even longer than that. And I already had about a half dozen games for it. I think I have about 19 now. I said, man, some of these are expensive. You go to buy some of the Saturn games, oh my goodness. But a lot of them are really good. This system looks great, especially the 2D games. Now you get into some of the 3D games, it kind of falls into that category with the 64 and the PlayStation 1. It's brand new. They're the first systems to really try that style. Yeah, they don't look as great, but a lot of them are still fun. So I really like the Sega Saturn. So this is one that I have, just the standard North American model. I do have just two controllers, the ones that come with it. Everything still works really good on it. The internal memory works. I do not have a memory card for this one yet. I'll get one sometime. And I would like to have, gosh, I can't even remember what you call it now. There's a thing plugs in here that allows you to play the Japanese games. And that's the way to go if you want to collect for the Saturn, because the Japanese games are a lot cheaper. First off here, I got a bootleg sampler. What is that? It just shows trailers for other video games for the system. I have watched this, but I cannot for the life of me remember what's on it. So, and I think there's several of these, and it's just an advertisement. You would have probably got it if you bought a certain game, maybe any game, I don't know. So here's a game called Battle Stations. Now this is a two-player action game where it's like ship-to-ship combat. You're actually controlling the ship, moving around in the water, pick different weapons and upgrade them. I don't know a whole lot about this. I've played it a handful of times. Really didn't even know what I was doing, but it was cool. It looked cool. It was pretty fun. This is one I really need to go back and play more. And of course I've got Daytona, USA. Of course I'm a NASCAR fan. I live in North Carolina. I have to be. So I like this. But this is not quite up to par with the arcade. But it's still a fun one to put in and play every once in a while. I like the oval track. And the two road courses are hard. I have done a video with this one right before the Daytona 500, playing this one. So go check that out. Cool. Now here's one. A lot of people love this game. Me personally, I'm not a huge turnstile RPG fan. I've played some, like them. I don't hate them. It's just they're so time consuming, and I don't have tons and tons of time to play. Try to take advantage of that as much as I can, but Dragon Force. Now this is a strategy RPG, and I've got to tell you, I don't have the patience for this. I've put this in and messed around with it a little bit and realized I was in over my head, that it was going to take a lot of time to sit down and study up on what was going on and what does what, and develop a strategy to play the game. It's just like, But this is one of the gems for the Saturn, and I'm really happy to have it in my collection. Earthworm Jim 2. This is a fun game. I believe it is pretty much the same game as the one for the Super Nintendo, except it looks a lot better. You get more scrolling in the backgrounds. Of course, the graphics are better. I mean, but it should be. So, this is cool. And here I have F1 Challenge. I gotta tell you, this is a pretty good racing game. I've played it some. When I think about it, when I'm playing the Saturn, I'll put this in and race a few races. And by no means have I played enough to get good at it. This is one you can put in and play some of the beginner tracks and have fun with it. I imagine if you got good at it, it would be a lot of fun to try to go through it. So this is a pretty cool game too. Here's one I do not have the cover for. I've had to put it into this regular CD case here. It's called Gen War. I don't really know much about it. I know I put it in and played it, and I remember thinking, yeah, this is okay. I really don't know much about this one. Oh boy. Guardian Heroes. This game is awesome. This is one of the coolest, most spectacular beat 'em up games that I have ever played. Now this is one of the ones that I ended up having before I ever got the Saturn. I don't remember where I got this. I think maybe somebody gave it to me. But I remember when I got the Saturn, I did put this in for just a second. I went through all the games I had. Oh, this is this kind of game. I remember seeing this one. Oh, this is a beat 'em up game. Took it right back out. I did a video on this one just a couple months ago, and it truly is the first time that I sit down and played it. A sort of a reaction video. This game is awesome. If you can find a way to play this, check it out. This is cool. And here's one called Loaded. I'm sure I've played this at some point. I just don't remember. Looks kind of fun. I can't tell you nothing about this. I know I've put it in, but I've not played it enough to even know. Sorry. Alright, we got The Lost World, Jurassic Park. I put this in and played it, and you're the little dinosaur and you run around, and I don't know. I can't quite figure out what to do. It may be fun if I was to put more time into it, but that's another one I can't tell you a whole lot about. And here I have Mech Warrior 2. Seems like there's a Mech Warrior for Super Nintendo. I guess, is this a sequel to it? I remember I put this in and played it. I didn't care much for it. It seemed like it was a little sluggish. I couldn't quite get used to the controls quick enough. I'll probably go back and play it again at some point. I've not had this one very long. It was one of the last pickups I got for the Saturn. So I hadn't put much time into it yet. So you're in one of the robots. You're kind of looking out the cockpit on like a two-legged walker. It looks like an ATST or something. And you're going around shooting other mechs that are like you. I'm sure it's pretty cool if you get into it. I just have not yet. And here's one called Myst. Sort of an exploration game, first person view. I have put this in and wandered around. Never gotten very far. It seems pretty cool. It's another one I need to go back and play more. Maybe I will eventually. So here I got NFL Quarterback Club 96. I've never played it. I think I got this with a lot that I bought off eBay. And it's not Tecmo Bowl. So here is Street Fighter Alpha 2. In the Street Fighter series. I don't remember this in the arcades. Kind of after the Street Fighter II, Mortal Kombat era of arcades and home console systems, after they come out on home consoles, it was kind of that point where I didn't pay attention to much video games, had other things going on in high school. So I missed a few years there with some stuff, and that's kind of in the time the arcades died. So I don't really remember the Street Fighter Alpha series. I put this in and played it. It's a fun game, fun fighting game, right along the style of the other Street Fighters. I know there were several characters on here I didn't recognize. But yeah, another fun Street Fighter game. Here is Street Fighter Collection. So this is a double disc game. You open it up here, and it has this nice little sleeve that slides right in over the slots, and then there's a game in underneath it. So it's 2 discs, and there's several different Street Fighter games on here. Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter Alpha 2 Gold, and there's several more. Yeah, I put this in and played through some of them. I mean, you can't go wrong with Street Fighter 2 or any in those series that followed. So this is a fun game. I've never been as good at Street Fighter 2 as I was Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat was always my favorite one-on-one fighter like that, but I was decent at Street Fighter, but I always enjoy these. They're fun to put in and still play. And here's Virtua Cop. Fun game. You can't go wrong with this. You know, the graphics today, do they hold up? Not quite, but it's still a fun game. And of course, here's Virtua Fighter 2. It seems like I remember seeing these in the arcade. I don't remember there being a second one. I've played this some. It's a decent game. I don't know much about it, so didn't quite know what I was doing, but it was still fun to get in there and button mash and try to beat each other up with a friend or something. So here I have a game called Wipeout. And no, it's not Game Share where you run through the obstacle course. This is a racing game of sorts. It's like a futuristic sort of, you're racing a little hovercraft slash spaceship looking car. I'd say it's a little similar to F-Zero, except the track has hills in it and the terrain goes up and down, whereas F-Zero is flat, at least on the Super Nintendo version. It's similar to that, and it's a decent racing game. I've put this in a few times and played it. And here's one called X-Men Children of the Atom. It says #1 arcade smash. I gotta admit, I don't remember ever seeing this in an arcade. I had put this in a few times and played it, and it's a pretty fun fighting game. I just don't really know what I'm doing. I'd say it's along the lines of, I don't know, it's a little closer to Mortal Kombat. I mean, it is made by Acclaim, so it does have all the moves here in the book, thank goodness. That helps. So, I mean, you can try to figure out what you're doing and get better at it. And it's pretty fun. Man, it looks great. It's a pretty fun game. Well, I do have one more. Some little game here, I don't know, called Magic Knight Ray Earth. Believe it or not, this game was given to me. It's a long story. It's a sad story. I don't really want to get into it here. I'll get all choked up. I inherited this from a good friend who's no longer with us, and she wanted me to have this, so that's how I ended up with this. This game is incredible. To me, the style of how you play it, and how you fight, and how you level up is a cross between Secret of Mana and Crystallis. You control 3 different players. You can switch around like Crystallis, but like Secret of Mana, but you fight and level up much like Crystallis. And of course, there's a lot of elements of Legend of Zelda in here. This game is so cool. And I mean, you already know this is one of the top gems of the Saturn system. I'm so fortunate and so blessed to have this, and so proud to have this in my collection. And it means so much to me just because of where it comes from. Man, this game is awesome. If you got a way to play this and you like Zelda and the adventure style of games, and this, I mean, it says it right here on it, action RPG. That is right up my alley. That is what I love. This game is amazing. Is it worth the price? This particular copy is priceless to me. So thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me for a few minutes. Hope you like seeing what I've got for the Saturn. I know I really enjoy this system. I probably play it more of the other Segas that I have, but I play my NES the most. But I do come to the Saturn a lot and put some of these in. This system is awesome. I love it. Can't say enough good things about it. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.